I wanna try and explain hell, okay, and the eternal death, okay. First, I want to talk about something that happened in the Bible, a judgment that happened in the Bible, a Sodom, a destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what happened. Well, if you don't know, look it up. It's in the Bible. So Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed with by a fire and brimstone raining down from heaven. And as they were leaving, Lot's wife, I think, turned around, and then she was turned into a pillar of salt. Okay. Now, but why? Why was the judgment different? Why was Sodom and Gomorrah and the people there destroyed by fire and brimstone, while Lot's wife was just turned into a pillar of salt, like a statue? Alright, this is why. Okay, Lot's wife was under the canopy of God. She came under the canopy of God, so she was like under the protection of God through the angels that were taking her out. So they've taken her out of that place of desolation. So she came under the canopy of God, under His protection, right? And she turned around while under the canopy of God. She turned around and started judging God, criticizing God. So it's not really. I don't think that she really turned her head around, but I think in her mind she criticized the judgment of God. Okay, she felt that it was immoral, it was bad, it was wicked, it was mean, it was brutal. She had pity on those people, but whatever. However, she did it. She judged God's judgment. She thought it wasn't okay. Yeah. So God was punishing those people by killing them, and she thought it was wrong. She had pity on it. She criticized it. And because she was under God's protection, what happened? She was turned into a statue of salt. Now, this is the mechanism of what happened there. So, under God's protection was on her. Her spirit was on her, shielding her from the judgment. But as soon as she did that, she criticized God's judgment. Now, God's spirit left her. Okay, God's life departed from her. And so she turned into the form that the first man and the first woman were before they became a living being. So when Adam was made, he was first a statue. When Eve was made, he was first a statue before they became, alive. Yeah. So there will be a time when people will turn into statues of salt when they, when they die. They will not just die and be corpses as we know it. They will turn into statue. But for that state to happen, the whole world will have to come under the canopy of God, God's rule, God's way of judging, God's law, God's system, God's righteousness. When they come under that statue, under the God's law, under God's canopy, in the manner, literally, that Lot's wife and family were, you see, they literally, like, it has to be God, angel, or God Himself will be in charge, right? Of of basically leading them, just like in the, just like the way the Israelites were led from Egypt out into the wilderness. Yes. So a God figure like that will come and lead them, and place them under His canopy. And during that time, okay, if anybody, if anybody, if anybody sins, okay, and the sin, then that will give them the law. They'll be living under God's law. Okay, if anybody criticizes the law in their heart, they're gonna turn to they're gonna turn to a pillar of salt. So remember, so she criticized it. She wasn't like very active. It was like something that happened in her mind. She said it in her mind. It was a mind thing, very subtle. So that's why the judgment was subtle too. He says God's spirit just departed, just quietly left her, and she, because she's now devoid of life, so she turned into the initial form before God's spirit entered her, which is the breath. Okay, so uh, for Sodom and Gomorrah, um, they were destroyed by fire and brimstone because, um, first one, they did not have God. They were not under God's canopy. Okay, they were not under God's canopy. God was not with them. God's spirit had left them. The angels left them. They were completely outside of God's spirit. You know, and two, they were rebellious. So that's why the destruction was by fire and brimstone. They were not under God's law, under God's canopy, protection, and they were rebellious. See, they tried to kill those angels. They came at them. They wanted to kill them. It wasn't just no, it wasn't defy them. They wanted to kill them. Okay? And the angels ran into a home and they came after them, seeking to kill them. So they were rebellious as well as being outside the canopy of God. So that's why the destruction was more like elegant, fierce. Yes. So it means that if people are not under the canopy of God at all, if they're not living under God's law, right, the mode of destruction will be by fire. It will be by fire, okay? And also, if they're not living under God's laws, they have this tendency to, like, their rebellion against God it's more open and visible, violent than when they're living under the canopy of God. Okay, well, either way, if people are not living under the canopy of God, God will judge them with fire, like very very brutal, obviously brutal. And if they are, as well, if they are rebellious, like if they're like very very active, there's a lot of there's action, what's it called? Is a lot of kinetics in their rebellion. Yes, so God will match their fire with fire, depending on the mood. Yeah. So how is that relevant at this time? Well, at this time, the world is not under God's law at all. The world is not under God's canopy. It's not under His civilization. The world is under the civilization of the devil. I said the word. It doesn't matter whether you're Christians or not. The civilization is against God, is evil, is wicked. It's the devil. It's devil civilization. And no religion has made any impact. No, there is no light. The world is totally dark, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Totally. And everybody is, except one person, God Himself. Every other person is inside that darkness and part of that darkness. There is no, it's like in the days of Noah, where only Noah is righteous. It's the same thing now. Only God is righteous. Every other person is dark. There are no prophets, no sin, no, none. So what is that? The judgment of God at this time, will be by fire and brimstone. So what is fire? Fire comes, war is fire. Bombs, those are fires. So you can expect wars, destruction by wars. Wars. No, not like guns shooting. No, like handguns does not produce fire. Like at bombing. So wars, expect wars. Destruction by wars. Expect wars. And maybe expect like meteors, to explosions from above to from heaven. But it's gonna be more of a fire. It's gonna come from up above. It's gonna come from humanity through wars, bombs. It's gonna come from the earth, like volcanic eruptions. Yes, you know. So fire. It will be by fire. So the land will open and spew fire. The mountains will open and spew fire. So it will be by fire, because the world today is like Sodom and Gomorrah. They're not under God's law or canopy, and they are violently rebellious against God. There's a lot of action in their rebellion. It is not subtle. It's not in the mind. It is open and bold, and it's just bold and daring. Like, yo, what can you do? Come get me. I want to get you, like, kind of stuff. Yeah. So God will answer by fire. Fire, fire, fire. See, not by flood, fire, because that's how they've rebelled against God. They've rebelled against God like Sodom and Gomorrah. So the destruction will come by fire. It will not be by flood. In the time of Noah, while Noah was doing his stuff, building his ark, they were just laughing at him. Okay, they didn't try to kill him. They did not. They were just laughing at him while he was saying that the world will be, God is going to destroy the world. They just left him, like, look at this guy. What are you saying? Yeah. So that's why he came by flood. You see, flood is more subtle, Yeah, but when those people actually try to kill God, God manifests his judgment in his most terrible form, like the form of eternal death. Okay. So now, when when a person dies, basically their spirit leaves their body, and because they are not under the canopy of God, they proceed to the lake of fire. The lake of fire, yeah. And so now the flesh can die. Die means disintegration, right? Ultimately returning to the basic elements, and yes, but the spirit can never die like the flesh. It cannot disintegrate like completely, right? So that's why the punishment for a person, the eternal punishment, has to be in fire. Okay, and so what that does is, so there's in that lake of fire. So the eternal death is that the fire is everlasting, because since the spirit cannot die, so the fire keeps burning it and keeping it, and so the spirit remains in the the fire puts it in a state where it continues to tend to death. It continues to tend to death. So the fire keeps burning it in an attempt to kill it, to disintegrate it. Yeah, so that's why the fire will never stop. It will never stop, because the spirit cannot die. The spirit does not die, so the fire will never stop trying to put it, because all things that die, that means disintegration completely. Disintegration. So if spirit cannot disintegrate, so the fire burning it cannot stop trying to. I'm gonna disintegrate you. That's why. So that's why it is eternal, forever and ever and ever, because the spirit is eternal. Okay, so that fire will never stop, because the spirit is alive, and as long as that spirit is alive, it's not under God's canopy. It's a waste. It's a waste, and this waste must be destroyed completely. And because the spirit, this type of waste cannot be destroyed, right? So the fire will not stop. So that's why the torment is eternal. It doesn't stop. See, if it's flesh, once it's consumed, it will stop. Because when Sodom and Gomorrah was consumed by fire, right? It didn't, it didn't continue to burn. It just came, consumed it, and stopped. So that eternal flame or lake of fire, its purpose is to consume the spirit. which cannot be consumed. And because the spirit cannot be consumed, it will keep burning and burning and burning. And so this spirit remains under torment in that lake of fire forever and ever and ever and ever, day and night, every minute and every second. It never stops. Okay. So yeah. So this is the principle and the mechanism and the nature of hell. All right. So folks, you can expect, because of the world today, it's not under the canopy of God. Nope, it's not. The civilization is not under the canopy of God. The civilization is openly rebellious to God, boldly rebellious in every way. Even the good that this civilization does, the good everybody does, is an open rebellion. Hear me again. I say there is no exception. Those of them who are trying to do good, pray to God, clap, call on Him, preach, you are openly rebelling against God. That's violently rebellion. That's what you're doing, but you don't know. So don't say, oh, Sodom and Gomorrah, they tried to kill. No, no, no. Everything you are doing in this civilization is open rebellion against God. That's what you are doing. So the judgment is going to be by fire and brimstone. So what brings fire and brimstone? What brings fire and brimstone? Through the mechanism, through the construct of humanity, is war. What kind of war? Bombing. So not guns. So you can expect bombings and shelling and shooting from tanks. So warfare, not individual like handgun, stabbing. No, like you can expect warfare. And this is fire from brimstone, right? This is literally the late. So because this body houses the spirit, so in the spirit it's a waste spirit. So what does that mean? So it's going to attract the kind of fire that is equivalent to the lake of fire. So what does it mean? You can expect nuclear war. You can't run away from nuclear war. You can expect it. Nuclear war, yes, it's going to come, because this spirit is there, is attracted. So it's going to attract the fire that will try to burn it. So but when it comes, it will just consume the flesh and stop, and then the spirit will go to that lake of fire and continue from there and continue burning. Yeah. So you can expect nuclear war. The conditions are right for it. There is no way, there's no reason why the nuclear war should not come. There's no reason, because these are all waste spirit, like I said, except one. Every other spirit is a waste. So this place here, this earth, should be the lake of fire as well. And so it's gonna attract that fire, because it will try, that fire has to come here to try and consume this spirit. It thinks that it's seeing this spirit here, so it will come to consume everything. Okay, it will come to consume everything, consume all of this spirit, and it will come to consume this spirit. But this spirit is only in this flesh, so it will consume the flesh and then stop. Okay, so you can expect wars, unrelenting wars, nuclear wars, until everyone except God, Noah, is consumed by that fire. Do not expect just skirmishes. Do not expect violence, like guns. Those are just distractions. No. That's not the judgment. The judgment is war. Okay, fire. Because ordinary guns do not bring fire. They just bring total. No, bullet. No, I mean war. Although you have tanks, shells, bombings. Yeah, and you can expect nuclear war too, because the conditions are ripe for it. This place is a lake of fire, because the spirits here are foul. They are waste. So the lake of fire will extend to this place. until it no longer sees any of those waste spirit. It will come here until there are no waste spirit anymore. Then it will stop. Okay, so this fire will come. It will come from, yeah, from above, meteors, or from some other means. It can come from the sun as well. The sun shooting fire on earth. It will come from the mountains shooting their volcanoes. The ground. It will come from the ground. It will open and spew that fire. It will come from the water. The water will spew fire as well. It will come from everywhere. It will come from humanity through wars and bombs. It will come. This is the mode of destruction now. The mode of judgment until everybody is consumed. Until everybody is consumed. Until everybody is consumed. Everybody except God. This is the mode of description. Okay, it's not going to be silent. It's not going to be by flooding. No, because people are because the rebellion is like Sodom and Gomorrah, where people have tried to kill God. Yeah, they've sought him out and tried to kill him. They have. So they will be destroyed. This world will be destroyed by fire. Fire from a variety of sources. Okay? Okay, there you go. That's the mode of destruction of this world. This is what you can expect. You can expect fire. Fire. So you can expect wars. You can expect nuclear wars. Okay? And remember, these wars won't stop. This fire won't stop burning until every flesh is destroyed and only God is standing. Yes. Every flesh is destroyed and only God is standing. Alright? Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not making this video for you to enjoy. I'm just making this video for you to hear. And as long as you hear it, actually, not for you to hear. I'm just making it for my own pleasure. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's it for this recording. Until the next recording. I'm out.